What, Lion-X playing the Lion?
Yeah, that's got to. Like, I feel like, have we asked him if it's his favorite hero?
Don't think we have. He hasn't been playing it a huge amount, and Q's got a good Lion as well, so might not even be him playing it, right? I feel like the ET is a much better pairing anyway. Ooh, and something a little bit different, a bit more mid one-ish, wouldn't you say? Just something that's able to, dive in, going onto the front lines. You're going to have a huge amount of burst damage coming through from that Warlock with the good old faithful Fatal Bonds.
10 seconds
And
remaining.
you'd probably say it's one of the better combos with the Warlock, right? That guy is
5
Gyrocopter.
seconds remaining.
Yep, good in lane, both for just being able to sustain with your low attack range, for being able to dive extra deep and use the rocket barrage to deal a lot of damage, and hell, even with the extra early points in the Fatal Bonds, you can deal out a ton of damage. LC being used, I suppose they wanted some sort of way to get rid of some of those Fatal Bonds on people, but not fantastic in the Gyrocopter as just a pure one-on-one matchup.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how does that lane really fare? Because it's a lot of magic damage, and it
10
feels like
seconds
Legion.
remaining.
I don't know if you can really
Radiant
man
team
fight in
ban.
that lane.
Yeah, no, it's a bit rough, but I suppose they just want to play for a little bit more of the late game. They've got some solid pick-off potential together with this line once the Duel and Finger of Death becomes available, and I'm sure they're going to be looking to get a nice active mid as well that's able to exploit a lot of that. Invoker's not banned, but I feel like it was one that got away from SMG that time around. They did not
10
have a good
seconds
early game on
remaining.
Motivate. This time around, at least they've got the LC, but
5
I
seconds
feel like
remaining.
you might still be getting somewhat greedy if you were going to go into something like the Invoker again.
Setup wise, it still does look pretty decent.
Radiant team
Yeah.
ban.
And as the game goes on, Alacrity on Luna is always pretty scary. I just feel like they need something to be in the middle of the fights early on, because Luna can't really fulfill that role. Legion likes to be able to use the press the attack more defensively. So I really like the Death Prophet ban.
Yeah, and they get rid of the Invoker as well. So what else is left? Storm Spirit, a little bit. It's going to be great for picking off the Lena and the Warlock in particular, so you're going to make sure you need to be playing with the rest of your team.
Pick.
Admiral
It's actually
Conker.
Conker. All right, that's the middle of a team fight for sure. Lots of team fight control. You're able to mitigate a lot of the damage with the Coco Rum, provided that you're able to get off the boat against these insane amount of burst magic damage that SMG has if they get these
10
great Fatal
seconds
Bonds
remaining.
combos off. How have you found Roger's positioning so far this
5
game?
seconds remaining.
Have you felt like he's been caught out of position a little bit too much? I think it's been okay for mine.
Yeah, I've been pretty impressed with Roger so far. I mean, I think SMG overall as a team has been looking a bit rough, but we saw. Well,
He nearly made the Pudge work.
Yeah,
so.
nearly make the Pudge work. He played the Oracle previously, right? That past game.
Did he? Maybe I'm tripping.
No,
but...
it was Zhao. It was Zhao. Sorry, it was Genuel that played.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this game
it was Enchantress, right? That game.
This game he's going to have to be pretty on point with his positioning. Otherwise, it's a lot of the damage. And you take a look at the AoE synergy they have. They really need to land that Fatals. They really need the Rock as well. SMG have great turn potential, but starting fights is very, very difficult.
So I think they need to go something like the Tidehunter's decent at it. They've got a good amount of burst, though, to be able to lock down this Tidehunter. And, of course, with the duel, that's one of the few things that you can't just shrug off with that Kraken Shell and be able to run away. So I feel like SMG needs something, A, that either does a lot of damage, or B, can just, again, stand in the middle of a team fight and brawl. But it's against a Kunkka. So what are they going to be thinking against that? Could they go something like a Razor? Could they go something like a Viper, perhaps? I mean, you can't stand your ground and fight as a Viper, but against the Kunkka, you're doing all right. I'm kind of feeling the Razor a little bit.
Choose your hero.
Going back for the Echo Saber build. Oh, it's actually a Nia Gyrocopter. See, this is what, when they were on their losing streak before, remember what SMG did? They were like, you know what, let's give mid one a more mid one style hero and let Nia try and carry the game. And you know what? He did. He did just that. He had a good early game, and since he was given a bit more of the farm priority, he had the items to be able to drag it through to the late game. I kind of want to see in the playoff stage mid one playing mid again. Like it just still feels like so much of his style of meta where he needs to be playing these flashy heroes, and give Nia the opportunity to play a bit more of that carry role.
We haven't really seen Nia play carry in too many of his teams, so that's the only issue. Like, how much experience is he going to have, and is he comfortable in that? But you're right. They definitely overall looked very solid when he was playing that carry from the mid. And I think the matchup as well, like, you've got an incredible amount of magical bursts. We've seen a couple of these position twos on the gyro. I feel like Yopaj comes to mind, even Mac as well has absolutely torn games apart. So potentially against someone like the Conqueror, you've got that capability, but it's definitely like this is completely feels like switched up for SMG. It's a very fast-paced lineup.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a little cooldown reliant, of course, with the Golem and the Ravage, but other than that, they're going to be able to go at most stages of the game. As well, one of the big things that we talk about whenever we see the Kunkka going up against any kind of enemy mid laner, if you got that armor advantageous matchup, you're going to be in a good spot. This time around, Gyrocopter, he's got a healthy amount of armor. I believe it's 6 at level 1. 7, actually. I think that might just be rounding, but still looking pretty good.
Prepare for battle.
Well, how are we feeling about this draft here? Are we believer in the SMG draft, or are we a fan of a potential 2-0 for Motivate?
Going to be on the back of Rogi. If he gets caught out, then it should be a pretty easy win for Motivate, but just the insane amount of burst potential that they do have on SMG, provided that they're able to get the initial stun onto Masaros so that he can't use the press the attack to remove that fatal bonds, might be enough to be able to turn it around for them. I'm hoping that we see a bit of a different build come out here from mid one. I don't want to see no Echo Saber. You need that Ag Scepter ASAP.
No, what do you mean? I want to see the Echo.
30 seconds to battle.
No. Get it out.
Oh, that's a shame. It's a cool item.
It is. Not an Avoid Spirit.
What's with that net worth graph right now? Where there's a bunch of stairs?
What do you mean?
Well, if you take a look at the net worth, there's stairs.
Stairs?
Yeah, the graph. I don't know what's going
The
on.
battle begins.
Don't ask me.
Do you mean Lena and Warlock having less? Is that what you meant? Or because I can't see stairs.
Are you looking at the team net worth graph?
Oh, the team net worth graph.
Well, now it's going back up
oh.
as a bounty, but like...
I thought you meant in the top left corner. Nope. I got nothing.
God damn it. God damn it. Alright, well, bounty room wise was a 2 for 2. So even in that regard, do we feel like it's going to be, because you were saying Nia is more than likely going to fulfill that carry role this game. Do we believe it's going to be a physical build then? Because we do see often that if the gyro's mid, he'll go for like that magic orientated.
I think a Maelstrom is still needed, just because you want to be able to dish out a lot of AoE damage in these team fights pre-BKB, and he's going to be able to get that kind of early on. And then just go into the Aghanim Scepter, Satanic beyond that. But you need that initial little bit of burst to be able to snowball past this this laning stage. Just make sure you're coming online and actually getting the objectives before those BKBs are available.
We've got a tri-lane at the top here for Motivate, and Arfu will be your first blood. We've seen previously, it was Boom, I believe, that played this Lunar. It was in an aggressive tri-lane. This time for Motivate, they're holding a bit of a defensive tri-lane to start.
No, you don't. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I gotta have a look at just Fearless's heroes. Like, how many heroes have we seen that are at least like platinum tier so far on him? It's kind of nuts.
My guy plays a little bit too much Dota, I think. KP? He's gonna die as well. So this tri-lane for Motivate is already starting incredibly well. Now they're about to hit their level 2s, and it's just gonna get even more difficult.
And they're able to get these kills even without an Orb of Venom on Lionax. So it's just on the nice stuns coming through from Q. He's got a decent amount of regen, so didn't opt to go for the mana drain. It's the double stun lockdown. It's going to be really nice. KP just TP'd back here.
Oh no, not like this. So got the Hex. Great LSA from Arfu though. It'll give KP a little bit better positioning. But they still have the beam, and Jackie will pick up his second kill. Also use that beautiful emote too.
I hate it. I hate it so much. It's the worst one in the game.
It's great when they're winning. Oh,
It's never great.
But how do you lane here? You're gonna die a fourth time. Ooh, okay. Oh, never mind. One more right click, Lion Axe. Finally.
Finally.
They'll bring up
You've
Roger,
lost 4 kills. You have to walk back to the lane again.
He might die if someone gets hit. No, Shadow Word expired. Never mind.
Wonder if they're gonna try and make something happen. You know, wait for the TP to come through from the Lina, wherever he is. Yeah, Arfu comes to the top side. They spot it out. Do they now rotate down to try and get a kill onto mid one? Gonna get the pull off first by Q. Nicely done. Roger scouted it out though. Let's see, ET running all the way back to base. Even picking up an early infused raindrops. Nicely done.
So we are not worrying too much about all the other lanes. We feel like it's all the action going to be top, no pick-off potential maybe, or I should say no solo kill potential, maybe mid or bot.
Radiant structures
Maybe.
are fortified.
I just feel like you've got such strong lanes all throughout on Motivate. The kills can happen anywhere right now, and we're seeing again the return of the big bracer build on Fearless this time. Not an off-laner build, but you know, luckily enough for SMG, it's not the one that gives magic resist anymore. Remember how busted that was?
So stupid. Everyone was just going bracer, bracer, bracer. It's like, yes, fun. Now we're seeing that on some position 3s. Maybe it's back. Who knows? Sam H is loving it.
Alright. Roger moving up here has certainly stemmed the bleeding.
Oh, mid one. No, you don't want to get solo killed Masteros. In a matchup, is able to bring down mid one's Void Spirit, and back up the top we go. Arfu's in trouble, and Arfu's gonna get brought down plus 127 damage for Lion Axe's Elder Titan. And this is 7 kills, and honestly, they might just make it an 8th. Not even 5 minutes into this game, Motivate are completely running over the lanes. They're even gonna TP mid one up top, so they have had enough. Finally, we'll see a bigger rotation come through. They need to dissolve how the lanes are looking.
They're on the board, baby. They get the first kill onto mid one, realizing, you know what, I'm not getting anything nearly enough out of this bot lane against this pesky Legion commander. Probably one of the worst heroes that you could 1v1 into in the entire game. That's why I did like the rotation coming through from the Warlock, actually. You know, it leaves the Void Spirit alone, but at least you got the Fatal Bonds to be able to dish out a lot of return damage through. Up against a tri-lane, it's always going to be great. But it was too late, you know, you'd already given up 4 kills at that point. Still capable of diving you underneath the tier 1 tower. Actually getting a kill there. Alright, nicely done by Nia. Again, mid lane going well for him.
Second kill of the game for SMG. That's kind of hype. Yeah, we saw what Nia could do last game. I mean, the Void Spirit did play really well, regardless of whether we weren't a fan of one of the items or not. But he's still...
This is big for Nia. He's been able to bottle up the haste rune. Arfu, he's kind of caught in the river in no man's land a little bit here. Underneath vision that this Sentry Ward is providing, maybe just wanting to wait until that Wraith Band at least gets delivered to him is Nia. He might look to shove out this lane a little bit here and then make a rotation up to help that top side with the Fatal Bonds coming through from Roger. Fearless, though, making sure that doesn't happen. Forcing the wave right back underneath the tower. He's going to go back, farm up his creeps again. You know, they're not going to be all that worried right now.
Arfu. It's a bit unfortunate when you're trying to stalk in the trees and they just drop an Absorb Ward dead on your head. The solo experience that mid one has got is allowed the level 6, but he's gonna miss the Remnant, unfortunately. Still, another jump in, Q. Should be okay now. They're even gonna think about TPing Mastros in case of a further dive occurs, but that one will be cancelled.
Sticking down here, they were saying, you know what, Fatal Bonds, it's wearing out. We're not all that concerned. Lionax might pay with his life for this. Q's at least going to get away, though.
Like, no, don't catch me, please. At least that's a 7-minute Midas on your Luna. Jackie's all in.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Very nice scaling coming through from your Luna already. Going for probably a couple more points than I would have expected as this Luna before we saw how the lanes turned out. But of course, with the tri-lane, you always want the additional kill potential. 2 points in Lucid Beam is the real value.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
But they're able to get a tower at least in response here. Masros, he's done a decent time of pressuring down to this bottom side, but doesn't have anywhere near as much threat of dying KP against an LC. Although, you compare the levels. Level 4 Tide Hunter versus a level 8 LC.
Oh, nice turn from Fearless. They should be able to stop if they drag you back. No, Fearless. I mean, if he dragged him back, he would have missed the combo. He's going to miss the kill anyway. So...
That haste rune coming in clutch. He picks this one up. Oh.
And that Q, actually?
He doesn't keep going, does he?
Oh, he's out of mana. Has to use the bottle charges. His haste is now expired.
Nia?
They're going to use the Tidebringer off the illusion as well. Even mid one's going to show up. Somehow Nia will end up falling afterwards. And now MG.Trust is looking to get involved. They don't have the X on mid one. They will not be able to try and find that drag back into a potential duel victory. So meanwhile, top tower is actually fallen. And KP is also getting some catch up as well.
It's a long way to come from, though. He's still 3 levels behind his opposing offlaner. And, well, using that time, it's normally the Luna that would be taking this, but Fearless, he's having another good game in that mid lane, being able to take this Ancient stack for himself. He's going straight into that Sand.
Bounty.
He's getting a little bit too keen. You know, it was a great play with the haste rune to be able to...
Jackie. Man, look at that rocket barrage damage maxed out. He'll drop the Eclipse. Shula's going to hold back the Gyrocopter. Now, they won't have the damage to kill off Nia. I think it was mainly just to protect the Luna, but unfortunately, it's going to cost them both their lives.
A rare instance where the supports aren't backing up their cores on Motivate. Just wanting to be able to turn around a lot of these kill responses that are coming through from SMG. Q about nearly reaching his level 6 mark. Same sort of thing with Lionax, soaking up in the mid lane. And, I mean, when you've got this SMG roster that you know is going to want to run into you very shortly, after Roger purchases up the tome that's going to hit it around the 10-minute mark, you want that Earth Splitter to be able to turn around in response.
Nia, again, looking to find the kill on Fearless. Fatal Bonds is out on a couple. That is a great pick off to start the fight, and MG.Trust as well is going to get caught out. So SMG, grouping up early once again, is able to find themselves 2 very, very impactful kills, and hopefully leading that into a tier 1 tower mid.
Little sloppy coming through from Motivate. You know, they give up. The Conquer kill is just a little bit of poor positioning, but MG.Trust, I think, just having a little bit too much faith in his team. They've got the siege creep as well, so they're going to continue trying to push in this tower. Have to be cautious, though. Mid one doesn't have much on the mana front. As Fearless comes back in. Tries to get the torrent off. Not going to be enough, but I believe that's a Witchblade now finished for the Void Spirit, so... Going to give him some decent scaling as well. Good damage, good amount of control in the early game.
Still trying to see what Nia wants to opt for this game as well. He's going Hood. Okay, so looks like he's in on the magic build, which means Radiant are not going to scale well into the late game. And if you don't keep catching out Jackie's Luna, then this Midas farm is going to skyrocket.
Yeah, you got to make sure you're coming online, actually taking a lane of barracks before...
Oh, that's a big kill.
See you later, Nia.
Split up, Finger of Death eventually into the duel. Some plus charges for both the Lion and the Legion Commander.
Cancelling out the TP as well was the Lina. They would have spotted that out as well. So they know that wherever Afu shows, just go to the other side of the map. You can have a decent time. But yeah, those BKBs now are such a key timing. Every single death on the Gyrocopter feels like, honestly, given the way that he's itemizing, worth about 2 deaths against most other core heroes.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Do we feel like Radiant... Yeah, okay. I was going to say, do you want to see them come back mid to keep playing aggressively? Because they have all their ultimates and Jackie going Midas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fearless.
They're actually making a TP down here.
Oh, mid one's going to miss another Remnant. Great use of the body. Blocks Fearless from being able to retreat through that sliver of the tree line. But now 2 heroes are going to show down bot. Meanwhile, mid, Rock, along with Fatal Bonds, clipping them. But that is now your Golem on cooldown.
Yeah. No Golem, no Bonds for 15 seconds, and Fearless, he's happy to go in and fight. No boat, which is going to hurt a little bit, but I feel like you're A-okay with this one. A lot of reduced kill threat just gives more time for that Midas to come up off cooldown. Using the Golem to scout a little bit here, so they should at least get the tier 1 tower.
Mid one.
So I tell, he wants to Astral Step in, you can just see.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Astros is... Come here, let me get a jewel.
He's hungry.
Without...
Sleep onto the Gyro. It's not enough. Not the high priority target right now.
Look how aggressive he can play. Like, they can't punish him. Radiant, very reactionary with how they start these fights. Ravage, Golem. It's kind of the Void Spirit that can really only do it, but without a setup for the Remnant and with how fast the Legion can move, it's very awkward. And look at the positioning from Q. Oh, that is on point. Mid one might still jump, but he will. Quick Hex, not enough. Match-Trust nearby. But the Dispel will not be able to give Q the distance. It really doesn't matter, though, it feels like, because that is a great pop of the smoke. It means that they weren't able to find Jackie's Luna, who's continuing to get a little bit of farm. Fearless as well on the Conker is getting closer to his BKB for the Sunj.
Alright, that's exactly what he needs. He needs to be the one soaking up a lot of this early damage coming through. Masteros as well. He's going to be able to help the rest of his team with that pipe being built up for himself. Luna, you know, can go a little bit more of this greedy style with the Yasha, with the farming build. Things still looking quite nice for Motivate right now with their scaling potential.
Oh, this mid
one, he's going into the Ags next. I like it.
Neo. This time they don't get the quick start to the fight. So the rotation's going to be fast enough with the Hood of Defiance. Gyrocopter's not dead just yet. And they all group up for a 3-man Ravage. Fatal Bonds links them together as well. They'll lose Q and they will lose their secondary support there. Motivate just unable to have that perfect execution to bring down Nia's Gyrocopter.
Didn't end up popping the Finger of Death either, and of course no LC being there means that that rotation potential is always going to be so much stronger.
Oh, bounty!
Speaking of the dual owner, Masteros, having to force to retreat back as they were eyeing him off a little bit there. I do like the Witchblade. Like, I was thinking maybe that might have been a small reason. They're going to go in, misses it, going into the Echo Saber because it provides that little bit of an extra slow, a tiny bit more teamfight control, but I mean, Witchblade provides that so much better for a Void Spirit in my mind, and it's always going to scale because it's based off of the intelligence that you have.
Ravage on cooldown from KP. Very tanky with the Hood. See if mid one's able to jump the supports again. Through a lot of their control and a lot of their burst damage is what a Golem Bonds! Again, Ford's gonna get linked. This time, Rogi dropping it onto multiple heroes, and they're going to force Motivate further back defensively under the tower. A buyback will come through for the Lion. It's going to try and offer some burst potential throughout the duel. Mastros unable to get the victory. Even Jackie's going to look to show up as well. But it's only 3 points in the beam and 1 in the eclipse, so the damage is minimal at best.
Even the buyback being used by Q, not able to turn it around with that dual damage victory, so not even getting the scaling from that particular engagement shows so important how important it is for the Kunkka to have that BKB available. I know it's Motivate style to kind of go a bit more aggressive than other teams are expecting. You know, they always want to make sure that they can get on the front foot, say, okay, you know, they're not going to come into us. They don't have their timings yet, but Motivate, without fear, they do it anyway. I think now, though, just because of how that team fight went, underneath a tier 2 tower, they still weren't able to come out the victors. So, Fearless, he needs this little bit of extra farm. You need to try and create space for him. Hit one. They get a turnaround here.
We were saying Fearless needs farm, and it's actually going to need some support help. And he's very difficult to bring down, though. 2400 HP. Got to keep in mind about the effective survivability as well with that press the attack from Masteros.
Yeah, for sure. When he builds up the pipe as well, that's going to be a big reduction in SMG's damage potential. Of course, from the active, but even just the passive 10% resistance. All of their damage right now is magic. There is very little in terms of physical. So it's a bit of a trade-off. You know, SMG, they want to keep the pressure on. You've got the Ravage available, Fatal Bonds. It's going to be enough to dish out a lot of damage. I'm actually kind of surprised that he's got the 3 points into the upheaval. Haven't seen too many instances of a long channel coming through onto it. And the Fatal Bonds feels like what they need to be able to dish out the burst, but you can't fault too much about how Roger's positioned himself in the game.
No, you can't. There's been some solid ability use here for the Warlock. We're hoping to see even better ultimates drop, because either team got some pretty strong combinations if they can use it in the choke point. Like that's the big issue. If you can tank up through the burst, then turn with the team fight, that's where Radiant are going to be able to thrive through, with the Ravage, with the Rock, you know, cooldown dropped as well. But Dire, they're the ones that need this quick burst. And Q, press the attacks now on cooldown. Oh, used the duel early. KP unable to get the hood off, and KP is going to lose his life. Jackie, just that extra level in the beam and the Eclipse solo targeting the Tidehunter, this time will be able to have an effect.
Nice group up together. It's what we were expecting, right? Like we were talking about in the draft. Like you see this much more farm-oriented build, which means that you can't take these earlier team fights. That's why it was so important for him to go the Midas this time around. His team made space for him. And even Masteros actually, is he in trouble here? Has to be careful about his positioning. He's got his supports behind him.
Doesn't get the hood off. LSA, Laguna Blade, plenty. Great use of the start there from mid one. And he is also getting very close to the Aghanims too, 4-1 and 9. And once they get these Aghanims, that AoE silence is really going to cause a lot of chaos for the supports on the backline, which again, you see the importance of either team's support this game.
Oh, he's not going to drag him up to the high ground, is he?
Mid one.
Tilting for that Aether Remnant.
They want to target Brogy or the Void. They use the X and the combo on the Warlock. Great use of the double Earth Spike, but looks like Q is... Well, when you're not on the high gun with the rest of your team, the line you can fall with ease.
And that was his dieback timer as well, so he's dead for the next 50 seconds. Still about 400 gold away from that Blink Dagger. It's going to be so huge for the turnaround potential. It'll allow him to play that little bit further back. You were just talking about the Aghanim Scepter on mid one. Being able to use it to punish. Masteros is actually in a bit of trouble on this top side. Even with the Hood of Defiance, he's going to drop down. And he went away from the pipe as well. He's going into the Solar Crest. I don't mind it, particularly because Fearless, he's been able to pick up his BKB. Jackie, he moved away from going the S and Y. He picked up a BKB for himself as well. So essentially the only one that should be in a lot of trouble in terms of their positioning is Lionax, because he doesn't have a Blink Dagger. He doesn't have a BKB for himself until later on. We've seen him pick up an Aghanim Scepter even on this this position 5 ET. But everyone else is going to be able to withstand the Magic Burst, provided they can get off their item.
It does feel like it's one of his comfort heroes as well for Lionax. We've seen him have some incredible performances in the lower division, and you know, since then a lot of teams have started to respectfully ban it out.
Where's my pension?
How close are we to some of these items? It feels like, yeah, Masteros, he's going to go to this top side. A couple of waves coming in. That should be able to finish up his Solar Crest. You can see Q not being the active support that he normally is. He needs this Blink Dagger for himself. Even, like, how often do you see someone like Jackie go past a creep camp that was available to be taken away? It's only 150 gold away, though. You can afford to do this. It's going to provide you with so much more priority. Hell, look, even Fearless on his Conquer, he made sure that that creep wave, that neutral camp was super low. There was only a couple of right clicks needed to be able to take it down, but can SMG punish before these items come through, especially now that they've got the Aghanim Scepter delivered on mid one?
This dire ward though around mid is giving them so much information. Like, it's just making it really difficult, because we've seen. Do you want to start on KP?
Back so soon?
Oh, I don't know. That's difficult to bring down. Rock's going to get dropped as well. Mid one top of the back line. It's a 3-man silence, but KP will fall. He's got to buy back if he wants to try and look to rejoin the fight here, but the Echo stomp up to the northern side. Where's the extra follow-up and where's the extra damage? Mid one. He's going to be okay, but it looks like it's a Delta split. As Motivate, they're happy with the pickoff they got. They will... they got to lose Iron Axe? They might not if there's no detection. Oh no, mid one's got a gem. He should be able to catch up. There we go.
Still though, very happy with that. Able to take out KP. I believe you got the dual damage from that as well. It was level 12 as well on the LC, so plus 20. Rock used, cooldown used. It did require a couple of BKBs being popped by Motivate, but I still think they're totally cool with that. And importantly, Q wasn't picked off before he was able to pick up that Blink Dagger. So now he's got that available. You've got the Solar Crest. So much more damage potential and turnaround right now from Motivate.
We do see it's quite the neck and neck game here for our second one of the series, but it's... Do we both feel like Motivate getting to the later stages are probably favored?
Yes.
So...
Quite clearly for mine.
So then it's really going to put SMG on that timer. Like, we've seen how aggressive they've been posturing, though. Constantly on the enemy's side of the map here. But they just haven't... The issue is like, how do you start fights on Radiant? Now you've got a blink on KP, so maybe you can drop a Ravage, but... Like, it's so awkward for you to be able to get a blink in, pick off, and it's allowing Motivate just to not get punished. And well, without a pick off, then Radiant can't take objectives. They're trying now with Roche. I mean, that a couple of...
from mid one.
Great spot for him. He'll pop the smoke. They're all grouped up as well. If mid one wants to jump, KP can follow up. He's even trying to get in the same position around that northern high ground spot. Roche is about to fall. There we go, mid one, instant onto the backline. KP with the Ravage as well, but the BKB is going to get popped. Both support's going to end up falling, but MG.Trust is just getting chunked down. Nia with this gyrocopter is now online. Going to try and look to reset, die. They don't have any buybacks, so they're going to have to give this one up. As SMG's positioning and vision game is going to be allow them to take 3 kills and also take Roshan as well.
Another bit of a mistake coming out there from MG.Trust, not using the active on the Hood of Defiance, just to give him that little bit of extra survivability that he needs to get off the second press the attack in that team fight. He has a bullwhip as well, so he's incredibly fast when that overwhelming odds buff is available onto him, but ends up getting picked off instead, and you just see without him, they just can't take a fight. They're still so worried about the fatal bonds. Fearless might be getting caught out here. He'll get away.
They had Rock, but I still think that kill's pretty difficult.
Yeah. Just TP back here, MG.Trust. Gotta be careful. Actually going for the duel.
He's got the Finger of Death. Now this is where the Rock's going to be able to come into play with the Eclipse dropped as well. They won't be able to get the dual victory, but it's important that they bring him down the first time. Can they do it a second though? Motivate, so difficult to reset with the upheaval. It's level 4. Jackie, BKB back up. Scotty just completed as well. They're going to blink on forward. They need to try and protect Nia, but he doesn't have help or the Glimmer. Nia back to safety. BKB, Fearless, he's still hunting. Mid one's disrupting the backline as well. A 1-for-1 trade at the moment. They might be able to catch out Arfu. He'll sidestep the Echo Stomp. Great use of the defensive factors though. Warlock, that Shadow Word, Glimmer Cape, just enough to keep Nia alive.
And even KP just throwing his big beefy body in the way takes away the attention. 3 heroes focusing onto him allows him to get away on this gyrocopter. And again, the gyro is your scaling potential. He's had to go the BKB a bit earlier on as opposed to that Acceptor, so the damage isn't quite there. Whew. I mean, things might go a little bit more in your favor once these BKBs are super low on Motivate, right? And it's going to depend on when Rogi actually uses the Fatal Bonds, because it feels like it's going to be mid one's job to try and force out a couple of those early BKBs through onto the Kunkka and the Luna, because right now, so much of your damage is reduced just by the single press of a button. You know, that already is removing 2 Fatal Bonds targets. Press the attack's going to remove another one. It's rough, and it feels like they're very lacking, even with all these high effective cooldowns.
They have Rock? No, cooldown.
That's one good bait, though. It's been used. Down to 6 seconds.
Attack.
Jackie? You're on your own down here.
Oh, Jackie?
Willingly.
All right.
That is a mistake we do not see often from Jackie.
And what do you know? Mid one plays a more active hero. Beyond God, like 10, 1, and 10 right now. Score looks like binary.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Poor old Motivate now. They're going to keep losing some objectives without having the Luna T2 tower. Mid's going to end up falling. That should...
Is that scary high ground though? It's been the bane of their existence 3 times now, SMG, against different opponents. And well, KP, he doesn't care. He's going to be the one to throw himself in onto the backlines. He's stunned up, and this tower's doing a fair amount of damage as well.
Dire's bottom tower.
That Aghanim shard for MG.Trust is going to be really important here for them.
I shall reconsider
Oh, yeah.
your worth.
Enormous. Even preemptively being able to use it onto a Void Spirit, Aether Remnant combination.
Still holding this a gem from Radiant. I love how early they picked it up. Like, you just saw the vision was so important for Motivate. It always felt like they had tabs on SMG as soon as they were walking outside the base.
I have to wonder how wise it is trying to make a play like this. Motivate, they're very wisely sticking together. They're under their observer ward. It's all smoked up. Mid one's going to pop it. They found him.
Limit protects him. KP is going to try and disrupt the backline with the rock drop as well. Double Ravage. They're controlling up Jackie, but the burst going to come through with the Gloom Blade. Jackie's falling low. Brutal turn. BKB clips pop, but he's unable to get any more life still back as Jackie will lose his life. MG.Trust unable to get in range to be able to protect him. It's a 2-for-1, but they might make it a 3-for-1 here from SMG. Motivate still in the area. They're pretty low on mid one. They got to be careful. MG.Trust is looking to fight. Jules out. Fearless. He'll chunk him down. That extra attack speed, Solar Crest, AC, press the attack is enough to get something out of it.
And MG.Trust there, it was a good job by mid one to be able to zone him out. If he is there, if he's able to get that press the attack onto Jackie, he lives. He's able to turn around and get a lot of that effectiveness in the team fight. But instead, it's still a decent trade for Motivate. Both teams, I don't want to say they're happy with how the game is going, but it's on a knife's edge at this point.
How's Nia's item progression? Is this the Ags? It is, okay.
It is. I was a little, that's why I was saying, like, do they want to take this team fight right now on SMG? Because he was level 19, he was about 700 gold away from finishing up that Ag Scepter, which might have been, you know, the difference from getting that kill in the end onto the Kunkka before he's able to be saved by MG.Trust. That increased movement speed going to do him a whole ton of work. Not needing the Rocket Barrage just yet on the Gyrocopter. Just wanting to impact his mobility in a lot of these team fights.
Fearless? Oh, that use.
Actually timing it well.
MG.Trust needs to get in range. BKB TP up, but MG.Trust has been baited. And Fearless cancelled his TP.
Stop his TP?
KP, no
I don't know
Ravage.
about this one.
Should be okay, but it did just cost you your Legion for that.
The extra Lucid Beam mini stun as well on Jackie here, realizing how important it is with, I mean, it's so stupid, 2.5 second cooldown on this. Stunning up for 1.2 seconds, dealing 400 damage. And he's even got the Lucid Beam shard. So just gonna be dealing with people in that way.
Seems like it's quite the shard, doesn't it? Where are we rating it? A?
If you have the Enchanted Quiver, it's S. If it's anything else, it's probably a B+. Like, it's just like 700 burst damage essentially from the backlines, which is kind of crazy.
The lifesteal with it too is nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And does have that Paladin sword, so this is going to be very, very important here for the Luna. Just potentially being able to stand her ground. Could we see
Guess
us?
what? He's got the Enchanted Quiver.
Oh no.
S tier. I'm telling you.
Oh no.
You just watch the backlines. Wherever he launches this Lucid Beam, watch how much damage the people take around it.
Phyllis has got to be careful how he... Yeah, okay. I say, and that X baited you into it last time. Now, I'm intrigued to see if it does live up to the S tier, but he doesn't have any lifesteal now. So we'll see.
You got Masaros. He is your lifesteal, essentially. Not lifesteal, but, you know,
Fearless again. Arfu's not close enough this time. But Fearless still going to take a while to get on the high ground, so he's going to have to pop the BKB pretty early. They missed the LSA, actually. Another look to turn. Rabbit, KP, clips all four on the high ground. Press the attack. Still on Kuan, I'm going to keep in mind. Jump instant on top of the backline, but the rock dropped as well. Earthsplit a follow-up, but they've already lost two. The damage starting to flow in through the tail end of that fight here for Motivate. A 1 for 2, buybacks on all the supports. A lot committed as well, ultimate-wise and item-wise.
And you can commit all this because they used everything on SMG that time. Rock used, Ravage used, Call Down. No Laguna Blade. You've still got the duel. You've still got your Finger of Death. So let's see what they're able to do with it. Do they go for the instant smoke? I feel like that's definitely the play.
Smoke it up. Oh, Midas on cooldown.
You hate to see it.
You really do. Arfu? Oh, there's no blink on Masros. They got the X at least. Mid one again.
Nice mid one.
What a silence. In and out he goes. Laguna might be able to burst down a second. The Lion for 70. They're looking to continue on forward.
Arfu's level 20.
Oh, the LSA, Arfu! Fearless is falling really low. They'll use the press the attack instead. The Jewel's going to lock in the Tide Hunter. But there's no damage to dish out on KP. A 1 for 1. You see those beams going to work here. Be careful. So much damage right now.
See, he's been using it onto targets that don't actually have anything nearby, so the glaives aren't able to bounce around onto anyone. That's the difference. That's why the Enchanted Quiver isn't having quite as much impact as we've been expecting. Just having that capability to poke and prod as well with that quiver is nice. The extra attack range that you get from it. You've already got such a low cooldown on your Lucent Beam because of the way that you've talented.
Feels like it's kind of the normal talent build now, right? With how nutty the shot is if you can scale.
It depends. Like, I feel like a lot of the times we do see people go the 8 stats, the attack speed. I feel like Lucent Beam mini stun is always going to be good just for that little bit of extra lockdown, but wisely enough as well, we have a Satanic being built up for Jackie. You were talking about before how, you know, by getting rid of that Paladin sword, he's kind of left himself in the dust a little bit here, but he's going to start building up. Already picking up the Reaver, of course, comboing together with the S and Y is going to make that incredibly powerful. What's Fearless got coming out? Has he got the Paladin sword? Yeah, I was a little curious as to why he didn't have that at the past fight. He was still holding on to the Elven Tunic, but with that Tide Hunter dealing out so much damage, he's going to be able to, you know, put himself back to a fairly decent amount of HP if they get the turnaround here. Scout out that Roche is up. You know where this is where the next fight needs to happen.
KP will lead. Got vision on the back
two.
line. Mid one's gonna
got
get caught. What an echo storm. Mid one brought down. He's gonna buy back. Instantly gonna use it. Let's see if Motivate want to stick around for more. The gem down on the deck. KP. Blink on forward. The BKB is on Kuda. They need a protection with the pressy attack. Great timing from Astros. Jackie's gonna be able to reset here. A buyback's gonna follow up as well. Jackie, can he stand his ground? Laguna Blade out. One follow-up stun with the LSA. And Jackie, he's unable to tank through the damage. They'll find a big kill on the Luna, and he bought out. He doesn't have a buyback now. Fearless might also end up falling as well. 2 down on Motivate. They both don't have buybacks.
Free Roche, easy money. That's all that SMG are needing right now. Mid one, he's not needed at that Roche pit. He's hunting for more. Just shows this insane scaling that the Witchblade's able to, provide you. That extra 150 ticking damage coming through from that. He's got the Kyron Sand, he's got the Vambrace to provide him with a little bit more, even going into the E-Blade after that. So there's going to be scenarios where you can just use the E-Blade, not kill him, and just walk away.
Who got the
KP's holding on to it.
Dire's middle tower
Gives
is
them
under
some
attack.
siege. That is what they're lacking.
Oh, did you
I
give it to
like
the
it. I
Warlock?
like it a lot, actually.
Okay, never mind.
I feel like it's good on KP. Warlock is amazing as well, but
Dire's middle
they need
tower
some way to
is under
siege, especially now that they know effectively that there's not going to be anyone buying back for this. Like the tower hits it for nothing. Minus 103 damage.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Just a pea shooter right now. He's got Orb of Destruction as well on KP.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
That looks like it'll be at least the melee mid one. Looking to jump and force some reactions.
Dire's middle barracks.
They finally
has fallen.
taken some racks when they got onto the high ground. All it needs is 2 cores to be dead. So they're learning. This is good.
3 games in a row, maybe? Question mark? That would be so demoralizing heading into playoffs if you just threw 3 leads in a row.
Thank you. Alright, level 25 on Nia as well. He's got those multiple charges onto the homing missile. Might force out a few not so ideal press the attacks coming through from Masaros.
Regeneration.
What's KP got here? Just got the casual plate mail
Dire's
sitting in his
bottom
quick
tower
buy.
is under attack.
Shh, what do we feel like this is more likely gonna be?
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
I mean, the Lotus is going to be real nice against the lockdown that might be coming from the likes of the Lion. Lion Axe has been on point again, though. The amount of clutch Echo Stomps that he's been able to get off has been amazing.
They're trying to poke and prod,
Dire's bottom tower has
but
fallen.
Nia has done quite the job to be able to scale right now. Back-to-back games, the position 2 on SMG has been looking dominant. We'll see if they can bring him down the once. We'll see if they can bring him down the second time even as well. That's a tall order. Well, they'll try with the Eclipse, but it's going to be
Wind Waker.
protected for the Wind Waker. Fu's already got that picked up. X on KP. Find the connection. Kraken Shell instantly getting rid of it. And it's now a lot of abilities forced out. Jackie's going to try and turn, but the press the attack to BKB popped as well. But the beams are going to work here with the Glaives too. They'll find the Gyrocopter alive. And now they need to try and counter-initiate. KP still got the Ravage. Can they force out anything big here? KP really far on the front line. Spike just shy, but the Echo Stomp. Nia still fighting shape at the moment. Where's that counter-initiation? Still waiting for the Ravage. And yeah, 2 full sets of barracks now claimed. SMG, all they lose is the Ages there.
And Jack, he would have been hating that. He was about 50 XP away from hitting up onto his level 25. Would have given him the confidence that they needed to try and take that fight. And now, too late. Going in the way of SMG.
I guess
A lifesteal talent as well. I mean, it's good. It's already very good. Combined together with the SNY. Gonna have that passive
Jackie?
lifesteal coming through.
BKB is on cooldown. And Mastros is
Where's
a
Mastros?
bit away. He doesn't have Blink. Can it burst in? Mastros needs to get there. No! They've lost Jackie. They've lost Mastros too. This time, it doesn't look like SMG are going to throw their lead. 2 down. No buybacks. Make it a 3rd. Triple for Nia. The double damage. They should rip through the buildings here. What a scaling potential on the Gyro. He turned up in this game. See what they can do. I mean, ET to delay is incredibly strong. You won't have Legion buyback for 2 minutes 50. And you're not going to have the Luna as well. BKB pop, but it doesn't matter. The G's are caught and SMG. They're able to take their last game before the playoffs here, giving them a little bit of momentum to head into the lower bracket.
Once again, they give Nia the reins, and he takes it and makes a lot happen. A lot of that credit has to be given over to mid one, though. The amount of space that he created in those team fights was insane. Earlier Ags than we saw in game number 1, constantly hitting onto 3, 4 heroes, getting that initial silence out, forcing earlier BKBs, meaning that Rogi's Fatal Bonds is able to do a lot of damage. Hell, Honestly, it didn't even do that much at the end of the day. Like a Warlock with all of this AoE damage, and you've only got 10,000 damage. It's kind of surprising that you didn't do more, but the rest of the boys certainly did pick it up.
It did still seem though like Warlocks, yeah, the damage was a bit lacking, but there was some great Golem usages and Tide's Ravage as well. We saw multiple times, but very good game from SMG. The fact that they're able to now 2 games in a row, unfortunately, was looking rough, but the third game they are going to make sure they do not throw this lead. And again, heading into the playoffs with just a little bit of momentum here is going to be really important for these teams because they can definitely turn it up. They can turn it up, these players. They've got that experience. And we're now kind of seeing, this team, maybe the dynamic might start to shift as well with Nia in more of a scaling role than mid one and him being on some form of playmaker because they've looked pretty solid on that in the games we've seen. So they're going to have a couple of days to really prepare and see how they want to set up for the playoffs. But with that being said, Motivate and SMG, they are done now for the groups. Next up, we're going to have Boom Esports taking on Omega Esports for our third series of the night. It's going to be about a 10-minute break. We'll see you guys then.